Wow.
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 All right. Would you look at this absolutely incredible Arrowhead collection? And this actually came from one person's estate. We are going to be learning so much incredible things about arrowheads today.
And the first thing I thought of doing was to call an arrowhead expert. Our good friend, Mr. Ben Stermer, happens to live not very far from us, and he is one of the most recognized stone artifact experts in the country.
There are hundreds of them here, and we're going to learn a lot about them today.
Ben!
Jim, how
you
Good
been?
morning, Mr. Ben. It's
My
so
wife,
good
Bobby.
to see
Oh,
you.
yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
We have some incredible items over here if you want to.
There's
There's a lot in there.
a few arrowheads, yeah.
Huh.
A few arrowheads. So this is what I called you about. There's a lot here.
All from one collection, too.
Yeah, we're all from one.
Yeah, it looks like a mix of different areas, doesn't it?
It does, and they actually, we were able to, they found this inventory book, and it kind of, it does, there's stuff from all over. Adams
Oh, that's
County.
good you got that. Well, this is California. Looks like Northern California area, this one anyway.
How long have you been looking at arrowheads and
30 years, I guess.
30 years of
Yeah,
looking
it
at
goes by fast. And right now it looks like, from what I can see, it looks like mostly genuine. I see some here that are like,
That's kind of,
those are those ones you usually see. A lot of them are made in India.
yeah.
And you'll see them at the airport and the gift shops.
Yeah, I kind of wondered about some of
Yeah,
this.
things like this. You see how a lot of them are the same shape
Yeah,
and they're kind of crude
yeah.
and real sharp and edgy. And I guarantee under the scope right here in the notch would be all
Oh, yeah.
fresh crush.
Yeah, well, you can actually see it with the naked eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, see there's,
Yeah.
I don't know, I think it's
They're
cool.
too-
This is
they're
the
too
shape you need to
perfect
make
looking,
today.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, there is.
There is there in there, sorry.
Yeah, so you can tell the difference right away.
Yeah.
So if we set them kind of side by side, Rowdy, this is authentic.
And of course you might run into some that are authentic, but they
That
were
are
broken,
like-
so they re-chipped them.
Mhm.
Like you'll see sometimes something like that was originally a knife and it was broken. The guy found it and they brought it home, and that used to be a big practice where they would re-chip everything.
Re-chip it.
So everything's fine except for, you know, I'm not saying that one, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And you'll see that under the scope. Sometimes they leave metal marks behind. But they used to metal tools.
Sure.
These
Keep the,
out.
yeah,
Those
keep
you
the
can put
obvious
up front
face.
for $1 each for because these look like Midwest, almost certainly. The types, they're just the materials. Look like Illinois, Missouri, maybe down in Oklahoma. But there's a lot of different time periods here. You see, these are a lot earlier, obviously, because these are pretty late. These go right up through the historic period,
Okay.
late prehistoric too.
So all of these here.
And this looks like California as well. Yeah.
If individuals found arrowheads or were going to purchase them, 3 different key things to look for as to being authentic compared to being something modern reproduced.
Well, I always tell new collectors, rather than just go out and just start buying stuff, I say go on eBay, buy broken, cheap stuff that's genuine, because those are going to have the same characteristics as the genuine stuff.
Okay.
And they can study those under the scope and learn about mineral deposits and you know what different time period pieces look like. I've seen guys spend $20,000 on one point, and 20 years later they find out that it's no good.
So when we're looking at Nevada, what are some of the...
Well, you're going to have predominance of obsidian again.
Okay.
These look like East Coast. We're just lucky back there. Look at how the materials are just rough.
Yeah.
quartz is really hard to work with, so I and you can see those usually don't go for as much as Western.
Yeah.
Unless it's, you know,
well, they're not well done, obviously.
Here we go. It looks like they put them in here because they're just bifaces. They're just crude,
yeah,
you know, preforms or they just call them bifaces. But these don't have a lot of value. They're $5–10 each.
Okay.
I would love to put this under the scope. Because it looks like a Chaco Canyon. See how fine it's made?
Mm-hmm.
The shape is definitely southwest Chaco Canyon area, but it might be a repro. So
Center Point first found
straight.
June 1831.
Is it almost
well,
too
if that's
perfect?
genuine, that'd be a few hundred anyway.
Oh wow, that little tiny piece.
See how perfect it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one.
In this one too.
Yeah, that one I can pretty much tell. It just, yeah, that one's good.
And
it looks like southwest.
Is it worth?
You could find this out here in the field.
So that one bites.
But as far as you might get $20 for it if you're lucky.
So do you recommend people keeping
There's
as
those.
much provenance with their items as
Oh
possible?
yeah. Some collectors don't seem to make a big effort to keep origin information or provenance with it, but I don't know why.
But it actually adds value to the collection, doesn't it? Yeah.
This looks like California because that, I recognize that as a McKee uniface. Here, I'll show you something. I'll show you wrong. The other side should be flat.
Yep.
Yeah.
See how it's a really odd, it's called a McKee uniface, and these are from almost certain, they're just always California. And you don't see those too often.
And what were they used for?
It's a knife, or probably a knife. I don't think they would use that for a dart point.
The value on just this one?
This one, you put it in the auction. I mean, if somebody knew what it was, like this would be a good one to get a paper on because then they know what it is. And I mean, it might go a couple $100. You never know.
Okay, so let's make. Then the rest of these are.
Yeah, these all look like California. But
Just
out of all these, if somebody said, "Hey, which one?" I'd obviously that one and this one.
Okay.
If this were genuine, this would be at least $2,000 or $3,000. But see how the material's real exotic.
Uh-huh.
And it kind of looks a little funky in the notches there. Plus it's real thick. Gunther points are one of the most reproduced.
Let's just say it was all
That was
and
genuine?
you said
Oh.
2,000 to 3,000?
It might go as $3,000, $4,000 when that big.
That
Usually.
is the reason why people fake this.
See how the upper surface is all aged?
Mm-hmm.
Even looks like it got hit by the plow.
Yep.
And then it oxidized, it turned rusty. But you can even see with the naked eye that where it gets lighter.
Yeah.
Because they
So it's
added
been
notches and
yeah.
they made this and that.
So
And-
all of those.
Yeah, except
Let's open it up.
they like to make birds and lizards. Yeah, maybe that one, but the rest of these, that needs a look.
This needs a look.
Yeah, the rest of these are certainly
Put in the
repros.
repro pile.
Now, every once in a while, you probably come across one of those pieces that it's just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, once in a while I'll tell them how, you think like a while back, a guy brought me a Folsom Point. It was out at some Western show out in, was it Chandler? They have one every year.
Mesa.
Yeah, and he brought it and it was that petrified wood from northern Arizona. And he just had it in a little frame and, looking at it just like this, I thought that thing's too extravagant, it's gotta be a fake. But, he said, I'll just take it home. So I just carried it around. I got it home under the scope and it was genuine.
Wow.
And that's probably the prettiest Folsom Point I've ever seen.
Now, what's the value on that?
I think it sold for $28,000.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought, I was carrying that around all day in my pants. Oh, that was a nice one there. It's too bad it's not there.
Uh-huh.
Look how well made it is.
Yeah, if that was complete, it'd be
Oh,
paperable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Remember that big fake, that big white one over there, that Dalton looking thing?
This one that you
Yeah.
were talking
Here's
about
what they were,
right here.
they were making a large one of these. See how it has a similar, but obviously this one's not good and this one is genuine and it's been very heavily resharpened. This was probably, see it was hafted up till there in the handle.
Yeah.
And they just used it and it was probably this long when it was new at least.
Wow.
And now it's just a little nub and this is probably a discard. They took it out of the haft and threw it down and made a new.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe what this says on it.
What's it say?
Old people points.
Old people points.
Mm-hmm. And they spelled people wrong. Old Piocle points.
Piocle.
Arizona.
No,
Arizona.
We didn't see anything.
But it's not Arizona. It's East Coast. They reused the frame.
yeah, this is California.
Idaho, that looks about right. Probably Snake River area. See how it's getting more colorful?
Yeah.
Kind of like Columbia River, Snake River.
Yeah.
Now, when did you first start collecting?
On the farm.
8 years old, maybe?
Yeah, I was 8 or 9 when I found my first point.
Where was that at?
In Oregon.
Oregon?
We were building a dam for our cattle. And so you were, you know, it was washing dirt that had never been exposed before. And I found a big Cascade Point. It was like under 4 feet of water.
No.
I was too little to get it. I told my dad, I said, "Ah, the Arrowhead." He kind of laughed and then got it out, and it was. So then I started looking and I started finding more.
Do you still have that one?
Uh-huh.
That's neat.
Wow.
What is this?
Yeah, I still got it. I still have everything I ever found. See how that has like a fob to it? It's just from age, and then once you get up here, it changes.
Yeah.
It looks like somebody has re-chipped this
Okay.
to give it a new point. Plus the flaking kind of, you can see it.
Yeah, you can see it there.
So that's what I'm talking about. See how that's ancient,
Okay.
and then it turns glossy. Now sometimes that's just a change in the obsidian, but I would put it under the scope, but I'm certain it's a re-chip because it was broken and they made a new chip.
Okay.
Oh, look at this.
But the rest of these, like that one looks
Do you
fine.
see any that look like they need to be papered in this?
Well, these are certainly that caliber. These would be for that people send.
They're-
Something like that could be a couple hundred. Same with that, 200 or 300, maybe more nowadays. People are going nuts.
So this is a good tray to
Yeah,
help
except
kind
for that one.
So when you find these
Just
items,
leave it
just
alone.
leave it alone. Don't clean it.
Yeah,
Just look at it.
Elko Points are pretty common. That's a nice one, but because of that's prehistoric, but because of the damage there,
Yeah.
or maybe it might be resharpening, but it looks like old damage. It kind of lessens the value, but you know, still might get $100 for it or so. I don't know if it says on here, but this looks like this could be Oregon, California. These,
Pieces to it.
yeah.
I tried to see if they would go back together.
See?
This one does.
Yep.
This one.
Now, is that real?
It looks good.
And
So this one of these three, this is probably worth the most. This would be several hundred.
several hundred. So should we put it?
Probably Northern California, but let's look
File.
and see what it says here.
Okay.
This is a Hardin point here. That's right 10,000 years old.
Wow.
Even though it's not a paleo looking point, but with the tip off and everything, it doesn't have a lot of value, but it's old. These are all Midwest.
Okay.
It's like Sedalia Point. That's a Sedalia there, I'd say.
What do you think the value of that one would be worth?
The Hardin?
Mm-hmm.
Broken like that, maybe $50, you know, as an example.
Oh
And
yeah. See here on the back, it's good BC Hardin.
yeah. See, he did a little, boy, that drawing's in itself, you could almost sell that, huh? I like those old style. Yeah, sometimes with these Gunther points, you'll see genuine ones that are made out of glass because the Europeans came out and they got a hold of the bottles. That's what looks like the deal is here. They found this piece of glass and see how the edge is flaked? They use that for a knife. Uh-oh.
What kind of estimated value range should we?
You mean per frame?
Yeah.
As far as the points, like something like this, I would think something like that would be like 200, 250 maybe. But then if it has arrow points that are like those smaller ones,
Like some of the
that are,
yeah.
A little bit nicer.
yeah, like let's see, like that would be probably more. I would think something like that would be like 200, 250 maybe.
This stuff here that we're going to send with you and get papers on, if papered right, some of these could be worth that much just on their own or more.
Yeah, this one just because of the workmanship. It has a little damage there, but doesn't detract too much from it.
That's actually great. It's all intact except for the tip.
Yeah, just for that. But you know, that'd be probably at least 300 or 400, maybe more. All depends.
Well, our friend Ben just stopped by and dropped off the Arrowheads collection that we had him evaluating and authenticating, and we learned a lot. So one of the things, we were a little bit disappointed that, for example, this exotic material point turns out that it's It's a fake, it's a modern fake. This point here had been re-tipped, so basically somebody ruined it and it doesn't have much value. He wasn't 100% sure on this little dog effigy, but he leaned towards it being a modern piece made in fairly modern times. He didn't feel comfortable enough to say that it would be prehistoric. But a couple of pleasant surprises were this one here that in the original book they had called Mickey Mouse. If you look at it, doesn't it look like Mickey Mouse? Can't you see the mouse there? In the inventory from the original book, anyway, that's what they called it. But this point here could be worth maybe up to $1,000. This big knife was kind of the highlight of what he looked at. This big knife right here could be worth as much as $1,500. Most of the rest of these points, various values from $200 to $300 range, most of them, but they all checked out good. They're all real fine examples. But like I said, $200 to $300 range. This pendant here, it was a nice surprise. This pendant here could be worth $400 or $500 by itself. So that's what we found out. We're grateful that Ben stopped by and dropped the collection off.